Origin and evolution of man. Evolution is defined as the change in characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on the process of natural selection. Human evolution is the lengthy process of change. Scientific evidence shows that the physical and behavioral traits shared by all people originated from ape-like ancestors and evolved over a period of approximately 6 million years. Human originated in the African continent in the past 200,000 years and evolved from the recent common ancestor Homo sapiens. One of the earliest defining human traits, bipedalism, evolved over 4 million years ago. Other important human characteristics such as a large and complex brain, the ability to make and use tools, and capacity for language are developed more recently. Humans and the great apes of Africa, chimpanzees and gorillas share a common ancestor that lived between 8 and 6 million years ago. The fossils of early humans who lived between 6 and 2 million years ago found entirely from Africa. Many early human species left no descendants. Early humans first migrated out from Africa to Asia, probably between 2 million and 1.8 million years ago. They entered Europe somewhat later, between 1.5 and 1 million years ago. People first came to Australia probably within past 60,000 years and to America within past 30,000 years. The beginning of agriculture and the rise of first civilizations occurred within past 12,000 years.
Changes occurred in human evolution. Lived the arboreal life, development of erect posture, bipedal locomotion, increase in size of brain, development of intelligence, hunting, material culture and tools, domesticated food.
Stages in human evolution. Ape stage, ape-man stage, primitive man stage, and modern man stage. Apes are a branch of Old World tailless simians native to Africa and Southeast Asia. They are the sister group of the Old World monkeys. Ape stage include two primates called Dryopithecus and Rhamachus. Dryopithecus, ancestors of modern-day apes. Fossils of Dryopithecus discovered by L.S.P. Leakey in 1930. These tree-dwelling apes originated in eastern Africa about 15 million years ago. Dryopithecus are known including small, medium, and large gorilla-sized animals. It lived in woodlands of Eurasia and Africa in the Middle Miocene period. It is 4 feet long and weighs about 25 pounds. They ate fruits. Distinguishing characteristics are moderate size, long front arms, chimpanzee-like head. Its face was tilted downwards in profile. The skull lacked the well-developed crest and massive brow ridges found in modern apes. Ramapithecus. This primate is also known as Sivapithecus. Ramapithecus was thought to be a first direct ancestor of modern humans. The first Ramapithecus fossils were discovered in 1932 at Sivalik Hills of northern India. It lived in woodlands of Central Asia in the Middle Late Miocene period. It is 5 feet long and 50 to 75 pounds. They ate plants. Facial profile of Ramapithecus is orthognatous. Incisors and canine are inserted vertically. Little or no canine diastema. The dental arcade is rounded. The palate of the Ramapithecus is arched as in man. Flattened and thick enameled premolars and molars that appear to be adapted for heavy chewing and the processing of hard foodstuffs. The molars possess the Dryopithecus Wi-Fi cusp pattern. Ape men stage. The stage is intermediate between apes and men. Australopithecus was an ape man because it combined many characters of ape and man. They had small brain sizes like apes, large premolar and molar teeth, yet their canine teeth were small and they walked bipedally. Australopithecus. Australopithecus was originally defined by Raymond Dutt in 1925. It was 2 to 3 million years old. This fossil had an ape-sized brain but a short face with smaller front teeth and human-like canine tooth. The various species of Australopithecus lived 4.4 million to 1.4 million years ago during the Pliocene and Pleistocene epochs. The most famous specimen of Australopithecus is Lucy, a remarkably preserved fossilized skeleton from Ethiopia that has been dated to 3.2 million years ago. Lucy's skeleton consists of 47 out of 206 bones, including parts of the arms, legs, spine, ribs, and pelvis, as well as the lower jaw and several other skull fragments. Most of the hand and foot bones are missing. Lucy measured about 1.5 meters tall and would have weighed around 28 kg. It an erupted wisdom tooth and the fact that certain bones were fused suggested that Lucy was a young adult. The researchers believe the injuries observed were severe enough that internal organs also damaged. Based on their evidence, the team suggests that Lucy died falling out of a tree. Reconstruction of Lucy's skull at Natural Historical Museum, Basel. Lucy footprint and bones at Laetoli National Museum. They lived 3.7 million to 3 million years ago in East Africa in the Pliocene and Pleistocene epochs. Brain size was about 385 to 550 cubic centimeters. Height and weight were 1 to 1.7 meters and 25 to 64 kg. They ate grasses, fruits, and leaves. Species named in 1978, 4 years after discovery of Lucy. Australopithecus is considered as missing link between apes and man. Ape-like characters are less cranial capacity, 600 cc, thick growth of hair, larger and sharper teeth. Man-like characters are complete erect posture, bipedal locomotion, hands were used for non-locomotory function. Primitive man stage. Man originated about 5 million years ago. They are connecting link between Australopithecus and modern man. Mostly lived in caves and used fire. They developed speech and buried their dead bodies. Homo habilis. Homo habilis extinct species of human, the most ancient representative of the human genus Homo. They inhabited parts of sub-Saharan Africa from roughly 2.4 to 1.5 million years ago. In 1959 and 1960, the first fossils were discovered at Olduvai Gorge in northern Tanzania. Many features of Homo habilis appear to be intermediate in terms of evolutionary development between the primitive Australopithecus and the more advanced Homo sapiens. Characteristic features. Homo habilis was physically no taller than 4 feet and no heavier than 110 pounds. The brain capacity was 800 cc, that were 50% larger than those of Australopithecus. Had a broad diet including tougher foods such as woody plants and animal tissues. They are often associated with meat and marrow eating through evidence of large animal slaughter. Homo habilis may have been the first of our ancestors to make tools. The toolkit is referred to as Olduvai industry. Members of this species were apparently able to use tools, build shelters, and fashion protective clothing. Fossils. The discovery of Homo habilis began in 1959, when 2 teeth were unearthed at Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania by a team led by Lewis and Mark Leakey. Parts of a body skeleton were located at the site the next year, and additional fossils from other individuals continued to be found. Their brain size, features of their hands and feet, and evidence that they may have used stone tools all suggested that a new type of human ancestor had been found. They were officially announced as new species in 1964. Homo erectus. Homo erectus lived 2 million years ago in Africa, Asia, and Europe. Brain size was about 550 to 1250 cubic centimeter. Height was about 1.4 to 1.8 meter. Weight was about 41 to 65 kg. They ate meat and plants. The meaning of the name is upright human. The body tended to be shorter and stockier than those of modern humans. Structure of brain was similar to that of modern humans. Face was large with a low sloping forehead, a massive brow ridge and a broad, flat nose. Like Neanderthals, their skull was long and low, rather than rounded like our own, and their lower jaw lacked a chin. The oldest known stone tools used by Homo erectus were made in China about 1 million years ago. These tools were simple choppers and flakes. Burnt stones and animal bones, cardboard and ash deposits indicate these peoples may have used fire about 500,000 years ago. Homo erectus may have also been the first to use a hunting and gathering food collection strategy. Homo erectus fossils have been discovered in many parts of the world, including Java, China, and perhaps South Africa, but rarely from Europe. Du Bois, a Dutch surgeon, found the first Homo erectus individual in Java in 1891. The fossil finds are molar tooth, skull cap, and a femur. Before this discovery, Ernst Haeckel, a German scientist, had proposed that when a link between apes and man is found, it should be named as Pithecanthropus. The finds were accordingly named Pithecanthropus erectus. It is also known as Java man. Peking man. Peking man is a prominent example of Homo erectus. Peking man was originally called Sinanthropus pekinensis and currently is best known as Homo erectus pekinensis. Sometimes they are called Beijing man. Peking man is characterized by a cranial capacity averaging about 1000 cubic centimeters. Peking man had a skull that was flat in profile with a small forehead, a nail along the top of the head for attachment of powerful jaw muscles, very thick skull bones, heavy brow ridges, an occipital torus, a large palate, and a large chinless jaw. Peking Man Museum, Beijing, China. Modern man stage. Modern man include all the existing men and also some extinct men. They appeared 3 million years ago. They originated in Asia around the Caspian Sea. Modern humans have very large brains which vary in size from population to population and between males and females, but average size is approximately 1300 cubic centimeter. Neanderthal man. They lived from about 400,000 to 40,000 years ago across Europe, Southwest and Central Asia. Brain size about 1200 cubic centimeter to 1750 cubic centimeter. Height was 1.5 to 1.75 meter. Weight was about 64 to 82 kg. They ate meat, plants, fungi and shellfish. Species named in 1864. Neanderthals are our closest extinct human relatives. Their bodies were shorter and stockier than ours. Some defining features of their skull include the large middle part of the face angled cheekbones, and a huge nose for humidifying and warming cold, dry air. Adaptation to living in cold environment. Neanderthals were skilled hunters of large animals and also ate plant foods, and occasionally made symbolic or ornamental objects. They built huts and were able to control fire for warmth, cooking, and protection. They were known to wear animal hides, especially in cooler areas. They ate significant amount of meat supplemented with vegetation. Fossils. The first Neanderthal fossil was found in 1829, but it was not recognized as a possible human ancestor until more fossils were discovered during 19th century. Remains of many hundred of Neanderthal individuals have been recovered from sites across Europe. These include babies, children, and adults up to 40 years. Most Neanderthal remains are individuals rarely over 30 years old, and over half are children. DNA has been recovered from more than a dozen Neanderthal fossils, all from Europe. The Neanderthal Genome Project is one of the exciting new area of human origins research. Cast of a Neanderthal burial in Kebara Cave, Israel. Cro-Magnon man. The name Cro-Magnon was created by Louis Landon, who discovered the first Cro-Magnon skull in southwestern France in 1868. After that, several discoveries were made in different parts of Europe, which reveal widespread existence of this type of man in Europe. The remains have been discovered from an upper layer of the Grimaldi cave. Geologically, they belong to late Pleistocene period. The skull is large and massive. The forehead is broad and moderately high. Supraorbital ridges are low and wide. The face is very broad, short, and flat. The nose is long and narrow laterally. The lower jaw is strong but not very massive. The palate, which is moderately projected, shallow, and somewhat narrow. The long bones suggest an athletic physique with strong muscle and a tall stature. Tools. They produced masterfully worked bone and stone tools of Aurignacian time. They produced a variety of sophisticated tools such as retouched blades, end scrapers, nosed scrapers, the chisel-like tool known as burin, and fine bone tools. They also seem to have made tools for smoothing and scraping leather. Art. They were also responsible for the beautiful cave paintings, sculptures, ivory and stone statues of female figure and similar other artistic objects found in different regions of Europe. Dwelling. Cro-Magnon dwellings are most often found in deep caves and in shallow caves. Fossils. First fossil discovered in 1868 near the village of Les Azes, France. Cro-Magnon 1 is a middle-aged male skeleton of one of the 4 adults found in the cave at Cro-Magnon. Analysis of the skeletons found at the rock shelter indicates that the human of this time period led a physically tough life. In addition to Cro-Magnon 1's fungal infection, several of the individuals found at the shelter had fused vertebrae in their necks, indicating traumatic injury. Modern man. All people living today belongs to the species Homo sapiens. We evolved recently, but with complex culture and technology have been able to spread throughout the world and occupy a range of different environments. Homo sapiens is the name given to our species. Fossils of the earliest members of our species have all been found in Africa. Face is reasonably small with a projecting nose bone. Brow ridges is limited and the forehead is tall. Jaws are short, which result in an almost vertical face. Homo sapiens only have a protruding chin, usually no gap between the last molar teeth and the jawbone. Limb bones are thinner and less robust than earlier human species and indicate a reduction in muscle size from earlier humans. Legs are relatively long compared with arms. Modern man skulls have a distinctive shape that differentiates them from earlier human species. Homo sapiens living today have an average brain size of about 1350 cubic centimeters, which makes up 2.2% of our body weight. Tools. Initially they made stone tools such as flake scrapers and points that were similar in design to those made by Neanderthals. Clothing. Animal hide clothing may have been worn in cooler areas, although direct evidence of clothing only exists for the last 30,000 years. Art. Cave art began to be produced about 40,000 years ago in Europe and Australia. Most of the art depicts animal or probable spiritual beings, but smaller marks in many caves in France and Europe are being analyzed as they may be a written code familiar to many prehistoric tribes. In particular, 26 symbols appear over and over again across thousands of years. Some of them in pairs and groups could be a rudimentary language. Environment and diet. It was only about 11,000 years ago that humans began to domesticate plants and animals, although wild food still remained important in the diet. Shelter. Early humans often inhabited caves or rock shelters if these were available. More recently, especially within the last 20,000 years, natural shelters were enhanced with walls or other simple modifications. In open areas, shelters were constructed using a range of framework material including wooden poles and bones of large animals such as mammoths. Burial. Burials were infrequent and very simple prior to 40,000 years ago and then began to become more elaborate with the inclusion of valued objects such as tools and body ornaments. Red ochre was sprinkled over many of the bodies prior to burial. Dating to 90,000 years old, the grave contains the bones of a young woman buried with the young child at her feet.
Dryopithecus was a tree-dwelling apes. Ramapithecus lived in woodlands. Australopithecus lived in grasslands and ate fruits. Homo habilis were the first of our ancestors to make tools. Homo erectus used the fire. Neanderthal man used to bury their dead. Modern man begins to domesticate plants and animals.
Conclusion. Human evolution is the youngest record in the fossil world. We are the part of human evolution, and at last we may become the cause of human civilization ending. The appearance of man was a climatic event in the history of Earth. Man is the fittest product in the evolution. The process of evolution is not yet complete but is still continuing. Further evolution of human will also depend on us.